Blackwood Hospital, a name whispered with fear, abandoned since the 70s, people vanished, stories of screams in the night, unexplained cold spots. This place was pure evil.
I'm Ryan Jenkins. I investigate the paranormal. I go where others fear to tread. Tonight, I enter Blackwood. The air grew cold as I approached. The hair on my arm stood on end. This was it, the epicenter of fear. I could feel it. The old iron gates creaked, a warning. I stepped inside. Overgrown weeds clawed at my legs. The air was heavy, thick with decay and dread. The lobby was in ruins. Dust-covered furniture, papers scattered everywhere. A wheelchair lay on its side. A shiver ran down my spine. I moved deeper. Each step echoed in the silence. The air grew colder. The smell of decay intensified. Something wasn't right. A low hum vibrated through the building. Then a whisper. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it sent chills down my spine. I stopped listening. There it was again. A faint whisper, like wind chimes in a storm. It seemed to be calling out to me, beckoning me to follow. I walked toward the sound. It led me down a long corridor. Each step echoed, amplifying the eerie silence that surrounded me. The air grew colder. My breath formed clouds in front of me. The temperature drop was sudden, almost unnatural, making me shiver. The whispers grew louder. Then I saw it, a shadow darting across the end of the hallway. It moved swiftly, almost too fast to be human. I froze. My heart pounded in my chest. Something was watching me. The feeling of being observed was overwhelming, and I couldn't shake the sense of dread that enveloped me. I found a hidden room, behind a bookshelf in the old library. Inside, dusty files and journals lay scattered on a table, patient records, and a nurse's diary.
The nurse wrote about Dr. Malcolm, the hospital's head psychiatrist. He was conducting experiments, inhumane experiments, on the patients. One name appeared repeatedly in the journal: Emily, a young woman tormented by something dark. Dr. Malcolm's favorite subject.
The journal entries were horrifying. Dr. Malcolm's experiments were cruel, twisted. He believed he could control the darkness within Emily. He was wrong.
Emily's story unfolded in the journal. She had a gift, or a curse. She could see things from the other side. Malcolm saw an opportunity. His experiments pushed Emily to the brink. He wanted to unleash the darkness within her. He wanted to control it, but it controlled him instead.
The air turned icy cold, as if the very essence of the place was trying to freeze my soul. I felt a presence behind me, an unsettling sensation that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Turning slowly, I saw her, a figure emerging from the shadows like a memory brought to life. A young woman in a white gown, Emily. Her presence was both haunting and beautiful. Her eyes were filled with sadness, with anger. They told a story of pain and betrayal. She reached out, her touch sending chills down my spine, a cold that seemed to pierce my very being.
He hurt me. The words echoed with a pain that was almost tangible.
Her voice was cold, filled with despair, a whisper that carried the weight of her suffering. I wanted to help her, to reach out and offer some form of comfort, to free her from this place, to break the chains that bound her spirit. But I knew I couldn't. She was trapped here, a prisoner of her own past, bound to Blackwood by Malcolm's evil, a darkness that refused to let her go. The temperature plummeted, sending shivers down my spine. The air was so cold it felt like it could freeze your very soul. A deep, guttural growl echoed through the room, reverberating off the walls and filling the space with an ominous presence. The shadows on the walls began to writhe and twist, taking on a life of their own. It was as if the darkness itself was alive. Dr. Malcolm, back from the darkness, his eyes burned with rage, glowing like embers in the night. He wanted revenge, for Emily's defiance, for his own failure. His anger was palpable, almost suffocating. I was caught in the middle, a helpless pawn in their twisted game. Fear gripped me, making it hard to breathe. Two tormented souls locked in an eternal struggle. Blackwood was their prison, a place where nightmares came to life. And I was their latest victim, ensnared in their web of torment and despair.
For Emily's defiance, for my own failure. The weight of their past sins bore down on me, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked within these walls.
Emily screamed, a blood-curdling sound that ripped through the silence. Dr. Malcolm lunged at me, his eyes blazing. I stumbled back, fear gripping me. I ran. Through the dark corridors, the shadows chasing me. Whispers followed me, taunting me. Blackwood wouldn't let me escape. I broke free of the gates, gasping for air. But I knew the truth. Blackwood never releases its hold. The darkness followed me home. It always will. Blackwood wins. It always does.